I don't know. I can't tell.
I don't have YouTube open.
I thought I did, but it says it's live on YouTube, so we are here. Welcome, Sandy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun prepping with you yesterday. People don't.
Oh my gosh.
What goes
Such silliness. That was a ridiculous couple hours we spent, but it was probably the best part of my week.
It was fun. I had so much fun because it gave me a chance to color too. So welcome everyone, and welcome Sandy. I want to hand it over to Sandy now so that she can share a little bit about the project that we worked on yesterday. I have to show my little set here. First of all, again, it started, we just used stamps, which was really fun for me because I haven't colored in like forever. And so guys, this was my first attempt going live with Sandy, where I was just seriously had my nose over there against the screen, trying to see what she was doing because it's been a long time since I've done anything. So then guess what? I did it again. I practiced, and then I practiced again.
Oh my goodness. You're gonna have so many cards to send. Yay!
I was so proud of myself with that last one. I was like, oh, I did it. So I'm going to hand it over to you now, Sandy, and I am actually going to see if I can pull up YouTube so I can also see what's happening over there to make sure that we're actually live. So
awesome.
Introduce it.
Well, this is the card that you guys probably saw on Instagram and Facebook and all over the place. I did post it on my blog too. It has an action wobble for the heads, which is kind of hilarious and rather epic scene. And what I did with Ellen was to simplify it a lot because we wanted to show you how to make the flame and how to make that look like it's really on fire. And on the inside, don't ever forget the insides of your cards because this one has a really cute sign. I just drew this.
Uh-oh, Sandy, you froze.
And part so that I get a space in between the palm tree to add that on, and then drew my own little cliff. But this was such a fun card. If you haven't seen the crazy video on Instagram, go to my Instagram and see it because it's hilarious. I have like some magic I did with editing to try to do it to the beat, and it was really hilarious. Anyway, the card uses, as Ellen said, this stamp set that has a couple different tiki heads on it. And at the time, I really had no clue in the world what to do with a tiki head. I'm not one of those people who's been to Hawaii a bunch of times. I don't go to Polynesian islands. I had no idea what it was. Are they masks? Do they have bodies? And I was thinking of the Stonehenge characters, or the, the ones that are on that island. I think it's Easter Island. They have like big, frumpy, dumpy looking bodies and these just big weird heads.
Yeah,
that's what was kind of in my head, except I wanted to make them bright colors. And I started by coloring them on the piece of paper itself. I was just going to do it as a flat card. But whenever I do any masking, I tend to try to stamp it a couple times while I have it set up so that I might as well just do it again and use the mask. And then if I screw it up, I have another one that I don't have to restamp. So I had a couple of them. And as this one got finished, I realized cutting out the heads from one of the other stampings would be adorable and make it more of a funny card than scary card because it was looking kind of scary.
Right.
And I thought the action wobble would make it kind of fun and crazy.
Oh, it's awesome. And so I have to admit, like last night after I had accomplished my simple one, look what I started to do.
Oh, she's working on her own. Good deal.
But I didn't realize, I actually have cut out each head to wobble.
You might have to put them on different heights so they don't run into each other. I'm not really sure how that would work.
Right.
I did them all in one because I didn't want to deal with that.
I thought, I got to give this a try. So I might end up having to tape them all together.
Could well be. It does mean you can't use the dies with this because you have to fussy cut them out, but they're really simple shapes to cut out. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But the one that we're going to do here today, we're at least going to do a part of that I was showing Ellen yesterday, is this one. And you might notice that hers is flipped the other way because Ellen and I had a small discrepancy. My camera, when we started out, I did not realize was on mirror. So she was busy stamping while I was yammering and following along. And suddenly I realized, oh, I should mirror my camera back the right way.
I'm like,
so
oh,
I
no,
had to
what
be
do I
careful
do?
when I was showing her how to do this to say the side away from the light is where the shadow goes instead of the right, because hers was on the left, because hers is flipped. So yeah, that was kind of a problem. It got us giggling.
Your left, my right. Like, wait, which way am I supposed to do this? So I had to think light source,
Yeah.
light source.
Well, and if you saw the giggly video over on my YouTube channel, we were really trying to do a pre-tutorial for the rest of this card and then do the finished one and have that portion, like the flame part, come all together so you could see both parts of it. And what Zoom did when it recorded it was only record our faces because it records whoever's talking.
Right.
And so we didn't realize the whole time we were doing that, we were not recording the coloring. And all we saw was like both of our heads down and we saw nothing of the coloring. So I'm sorry that doesn't happen, but I did something for you just now that I think you're going to find happy making. And I want you to get your screenshot button out and ready, because what I did was write down the colors for each of these things. The Tiki.
Sandy.
Yes.
You have to flip it.
Oh, I'm gonna have to flip it? No, I see it correctly.
No, on the video, it's actually backwards.
It's backwards. No, I can see it straight. I can see it correctly on mine.
Yeah, but on YouTube, it's
oh man. Okay, now I have to go to my other software and flip it again. So hang on for just a second and let me see. That is so funny. Okay.
like it's allowing people to see what we went through yesterday.
Is that right now?
Yay, it's right.
Okay, on Zoom, it looks backwards to me now, but that's okay. As long as it looks right for you guys, that's fine.
Yeah, because I actually have YouTube now up in the corner over here so I can be sure that we're actually not frozen, because yesterday we were frozen. We were I don't know that people realize that it's you and me. That's our tech team.
Exactly. We don't have people that we can ask questions like, what's it doing? Why is it backwards? And it's weird that it's fine for you, and on Zoom that I'm looking at on my computer, I see it the other way. Anyway, the Tiki guy we colored first, and I put in some of the dark brown or dark blue green, the BG09 from the bottom going up, and then from the right side going in. And that is just putting the shadow in, and then moved into the BG57 so that I had a color to transition to, and had the YG03 in the highlight area because there's yellow highlight coming in from the light. And then we drew our own little arm and our own little body. And don't stress out over doing those because you're going to draw back into it when you're done.
I had something that actually dawned on me by the time I did it 3 times, Sandy. I realized, oh yeah, you literally just go and you put your hand around that thing. And so that's how you draw this hand, is in alignment with the bowl. Because remember when I had the arm, and I had this arm so crooked that it looked like he had a broken wrist.
Yep. So having a curved arm is better. And we did the dark color and then the medium color. I mean, you can make this in any colors. It doesn't have to be blues and blue greens. And then the medium blue green will blend them. So that's how we did the body right there. Hopefully that is helpful. And it's really just, it's a lump and a ball and an arm. It's not like rocket science here. Okay, so we did that. We did the leaves by just scribbling the light green over top of them. and then scribbled some lines of the YG17 going up. Later on, we added more of the G28 because it wasn't dark enough.
Well,
next up, we went.
That helped me actually, Sandy, was when you were instructing me, like you said, just do it. It was so quick because I'm a color in the lines kind of girl, and we didn't color in the lines for these. And so that was a real helpful thing for me to know that that black, or not black, the dark color coming back in, then put me back in the lines. So that
I'll do that real quick on one of these leaves, just so you can see. That's what we did. We did just like scribble. Yeah. And then I did scribble for the shadow portion. And then when we went back in around it, that's when you go in and you cover up all that other part. That's why it's great to do night scenes.
Yeah, it was just really incredible.
Because as soon as you put all that color.
Yeah.
And
typically I would have done every little detail so slowly. And so the time that it would, you know, one of the questions was how long did it take you? Well, the way that you do this is marvelous to me. So how long do you think it took us to just do that?
I don't think we were working even for an hour to do that background.
No, because the video
it wasn't even that.
less than an hour, and we didn't even get started on it. I think it maybe took us half an hour, and that's because I was slow. Like you were, I
was tapping my fingers waiting on you.
Yeah, come on, Ellen. Come on.
You can do it. Just color out of the lines.
Yeah. Yes, Ellen. Color outside the lines. Color outside the lines.
That's what we should call this video, coloring outside the lines.
It's true.
Okay, so we got those parts colored and it looked like a hot mess. So if it looks like a hot mess, you're doing it right. Do not stress out over it. So next we went in with a G28, a really dark green. You can use other dark greens too. And we made just an area and just kind of scribbled color in there. Did not even worry about trying to make those areas look fantastic, because we took some green on the bottom and then we took this purplish blue, a B79, and did that all around the sky part.
What is so crazy to me too is it, and this is a thing that I always need to recall, is that underlay color can be completely different than the end result. In fact, it's better to have nice bright tone, because when you bring that other color tone over top, you get a brand new color.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So that's where I struggle, where your art background just really, like, it's like, I would have never thought to use those bright tones. And yet, oh my gosh, it's perfect. Perfect for a night.
Well, and you know how I figured that out? I wanted to use the B79 because somebody on Instagram said that's their favorite sky color. And I colored it, and that was way too bright for me.
Right.
So I went over it, and what I figured out, when you go over these two colors, it all blends. It makes this sort of hazy green forest in the background. Mm-hmm. And look how easy that was. I did that in 2 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the kind of things that I like to do when I'm making the scenes. Like, why make it hard?
Yeah.
So yeah, we did the trees in the G28, the sky in the B79, and then did the B99 over the whole thing, and just left a big hole in the middle. So the big hole in the middle is what's where we're going to put the flame. But I also saved for you, I did not remove it from my Misty. I saved for you the stamps that I put here. I just threw them all in one little thing here. Show you that. I put the tiki head. You can choose any of the tiki heads, and just a couple plants. Put them closer together, and then you have a smaller body. But if you put the head way up there, like Ellen, did you get a taller type of tiki? Hers is a little bit bigger than mine.
That was because I was envisioning myself as my youthful self when I was tall and skinny.
And the only masking that I did on this was a piece that I saved here, is just putting a little sliver of a sticky note. Just move it around until it's in a place where you think the hand might be, because then you can draw that ball for the hand and just throw that right in there. It's really easy stamping that way. Super easy. Now, Ellen, one of the things I realized is that I think I went and colored the rest of my other picture that I did yesterday, because I haven't been able to find it. So what I'm going to do Because I mean, it's just gone. Like it's just like the whole universe ate what I was doing. It's not here.
You have to just use that one that you just started and
exactly
make a nice little shape for me, because I don't know that I could do it without you.
That's totally fine. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one. And if you're doing this just straight up, we were trying to reserve, you can see on Ellen's, we reserved like a big old gap. And if you want to do it that way, you can do it. I'm going to show you the opposite way how to do it if you're starting with the torch and then building out to the sky. And Ellen, you can follow along. So it's either coloring out and in or in and out. You can do it either way. And we'll go back and forth a little bit as we try to blend those colors. All right.
Okay. I will do my best. I think I could use my first one because its orientation is the same as that one.
There you go. There you go.
And then I can practice on my other ones and get a really pretty one to end with.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to do this nice and easy again. We're going to take the Y02. And if you're doing this without having any color around it, you need to establish where your flame is going to be. And I'm going to give you a tip. Flames go vertical. They don't blow sideways unless the wind is blowing.
Okay.
So even though, Ellen, you've left yours kind of at an angle, you can change that. You can adapt that and carve that in a little bit, because we left it deliberately really big so you'd have room to play.
Interesting though. Yeah.
So I'm going to make my flame going up. Now it can go up a little bit. The wind can blow it for sure. But if it's blowing like really crooked, just know it's really windy that day.
So that little flame that is there, is that going to be yellow? Is everything going to be yellow so far?
Yeah, just color right over top of that for right now.
Okay, like that. Just be messy. No coloring
just
in
be
the line?
messy. Don't even worry about it.
Okay.
And then we're going to go around that. We're going to start defining the shape of that flame with the Y17. So you're going to leave a little of that bright yellow in the center and go around it a little bit.
Okay.
And then we'll go with YR04. We'll go around that a little bit. Don't worry about blending.
So am I going outside of the actual?
Yeah, just go outside. So we're going to make a couple of successive flame shapes and then we'll blend them.
Okay.
So do the YR04 and then the same thing with the YR09. Now I'm using a lot of colors on this because I want to show you how we're going to carve it back down to make it into a smaller flame. You see how small that one is? It's not a huge one. So we're going to carve that back down. But we need to start building in some colors because you can't go from the blue to that orange and have it not look like mud. So I'm going to start with carving it down a little bit with the V09.
Sandy, I think your camera froze again because I'm not seeing you coloring.
Oh, well.
I'm just coloring on my own.
That.
So I'm going to I'm going to try and catch up to you here while you're telling me what to do, while you're getting your camera going, because I'm kind of like, I've been doing this all on my own and I'm looking at it on the screen. I'm going, that looks pretty good. I'm doing it just like Sandy. And then I realized, oh,
this is what kept happening to us yesterday. Is that we just kept, suddenly the cameras would go out and mine would flip back the other direction. All kinds of crazy stuff kept happening.
Absolutely. So I have my Y02, I have my Y7, I have my YR04 and my YR09, and I've kind of created this little thing that goes upwards. I'm hoping I'm doing it right. Can you peek at the camera for a second and see if I'm on the right page?
Let's see.
Or is it too much?
Yeah, that's looking good. All right, looks like I'm back.
Oh, look how beautiful yours is. I'm like just flicking away, flicking.
That's totally fine. We're gonna go back and now blend some of this.
Oh, so now I have something
V09
around the outside. What is around the outside?
That's a V09. And if you're working with your B79, because the B79 is the color that we put under that whole sky, right. That's where your B79 is going to disappear nicely along the edge of the V09.
Okay. So I'm actually.
So if you were starting with just the flame, that's when you would go out to the B79. But
Gotcha.
now we can start coming back inward again because my purple took over a bunch of my orange. So I'm going to go back in and add a little bit more of the orange, but I'm going to go back and forth so I can try to blend that edge just slightly. It doesn't have to be perfect because this is a flame and flames are all kind of funky. But I'm going to go around both sides of it. So let me hold that up to the camera so maybe you can see that better.
Yeah. So
does that
now
help?
that I have my V like Victor, I actually was thinking
V like Victor.
Sandy was saying B yesterday. So
she was digging through the bag thinking
I was looking for
I had invented new Copic numbers.
Like, okay, so
then we so that's the YR09, then you do the YR04 and just work your way back in, making sure you leave some room for that pure yellow in the middle because these colors around the outside are going to make that yellow look more vibrant in the middle. And then the Y17. And then I can go back in with that really light yellow again.
Oh my goodness, it's so funny that I was just flicking, and you were like making this beautiful, just simple line.
Well, when my camera goes out, that kind of causes the problem. This is why I do pre-recorded video more because I can control what it's actually doing.
Oh, exactly. It's funny, but you know what? It's all good. I have the screen up here and I haven't seen any questions really coming in yet. So if people have questions, shoot them at me because I'll try and see if there's something I can do to ask them of Sandy. Because one of the things that people don't realize is that we are also ahead of where YouTube is coming in. And so if I keep my, eye kind of on the corner over here.
Oh yeah, that's right. So there's a lag
coming in. So now I actually need to bring my B99 back over my B79, don't I? Because it's like that looks so bright.
Yep, and that'll start to bring it all back together too.
Yeah. So I know I'm going to do better on my second time. I promise.
Oh, of course you will. Of course you will. So then when it comes to the little flame, we have to do something with that little flame. So I'm going to put some of the dark orange at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And then a little bit of the lighter orange in the middle. And then we get out the tool that fixes everything. And I want everybody in YouTube to shout out at the same time what you think that tool is going to be. What is it that this girl uses on practically every card she makes? I think I have to wait for the lag for the answer, don't I? I have to see if they're going to get it.
Because I'm thinking, right. Hey, here's the other thing I want everybody who's watching to know, that we are picking from somebody who's here live with us, and we're going to give them a store certificate. So this is their opportunity to come and join us. And you guys know this, like Sandy uses this on everything. And it makes
and believe it or not, Ellen did not have one of these in her house. And she had to call her daughter and say, you need to bring one home for me. Please? So I can finish my card. What do you think the next tool is going to be while we wait for Ellen to catch up? I will give you a moment.
Slow, and Ellen's trying to make this look so much better than it is right now. And Ellen just needs to let it be. Oh, I'm seeing it. I'm totally seeing it.
They're getting the answer?
They are. They're getting the answer. Ta-da! They were right. They were right.
Yes, they were right. They figured it out.
Yep, that white gel pen.
That white gel pen is the best tool
we're using it ever. And so your flame is not written down on your notepad on the outside.
You are correct.
So maybe you want to write those down so that people can have those visible for replay and joining us, because you guys, this has been so much fun. I cannot tell you the reason I do what I do is because I really truly believe that creativity saves people's lives. And it helps me with my ability to just escape. One of the things yesterday I noticed when Sandy and I were working together was that when I color, it's really hard for me I become very quiet and introspective, and it's such a good feeling.
She did get really quiet. I have not known Ellen to be very quiet very long. That was just like, Ellen, are you still there? You're not frozen, right?
Screen frozen.
All right. So for the flames, we're gonna basically cover up some of the top edge of that black stamp line.
Okay. Now,
because that's going to make it look like it's blending into the yellow fire.
Ooh.
And then I'm even going to put like a little tiny trail of it going upward. I'll hold this up to the camera so you can see, Ellen.
Thank you. Because
and follow
I have my glasses here that I think I'm going to need up for this part. Oh yeah, cool.
You see that?
Yeah. Oh wow, that's cool. Okay, Ellen, you can do this.
You can do it. You can handle it. I promise you can.
What's the trick to keeping
and
it?
I'm going to use the B99 real quick over my, oops, might help if I grab the right pen. Oh, I have the wrong cap on something.
Hey, Sandy.
There we go.
What's the trick to keeping your gel pen running? Because I'm like crizzling here on my hand to get mine going.
Mine get used a lot, so they don't seem to have as much trouble as a lot of other people. But remember that a gel pen has a ball in it. So it's got a, you know, I don't even know if this is technically the actual thing about how it works, but there's a ball, picture a ball. Mm-hmm. And then there's the pen, and it has, you know, whatever it is that holds the ball in there, but there's a liquid that has to go all the way around the ball. It has to flow. And if you smash the pen down because it's not working, you are not giving it room to flow around there. So you need to probably lighten up on the pressure just a little bit, so it's not like crazy strong pressure on it.
Right. Okay.
All right. Do you have your center done on your flame?
Oh, so am I making a little point on that white gel pen too?
You can. You won't see it very much against the yellow. It's just to kind of get that little hot center going. Sometimes a flame has a red hot center. Sometimes you can put a white hot center in it. Either one can work really well. So then we're going to add some, you know, like how when some flames have a sparkle coming up from them, we're going to add the sparkle. So I'm going to go around.
Like when you have a sparkler or something and it does this
or a campfire, when you get all that little stuff snap, crackling, popping. And we're going to go around the edge.
Okay.
You know, maybe around the orange a little bit. Just pick a couple different places to make a few swirly lines. And then as you get to the top, help them to cross each other so that they look like they're twisting.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I got my nose up against the screen. I'm sure people's views are wonderful.
Well, I'll hold this up
close to
the camera in a second here.
Oh, I love your swirls. I don't know that I can replicate it nearly as good as you. Oh, that's so cool, Sandy. I love that. It's wispy.
So I'm not making them like outlining the flame. You don't want them to outline the flame. You want them to be part of the flame, as if you're getting some little white trails that are going around in it.
So can you see mine okay? Am I doing it right? Here, how's that?
That looks good.
My flame is a little haphazard.
Definitely working.
Next time I know not to click.
The good thing about this is that you can keep carving away at the flame in order to create the flame the size you want it and the shape that you want it. You know, because it depends on how big and how fat you want it. These guys are even smaller. The ones I did here.
Your camera's not in focus again. Look.
Oh, I focused it when I moved up and I forgot when I moved it back down.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can see the difference between all of these. You know, you have more orange on this one, less orange on this one, you know, kind of hit or miss, whichever way you want to go. This one has smaller flames, so they have a tiny trail, whereas these are much bigger.
Right.
So just kind of depends on what you want to do.
So can I come back over with Copic markers? And if I do so, is that going to negate the white gel pen and I redo the white gel pen, or what happens with that?
If the gel pen is still wet, I would not go over it while it's still wet.
Okay.
Just make sure that, you know, like if you smush it with your finger, it's not gonna move.
Right.
Once it's dry, you can go over it.
Okay.
And going over it can do one of two things. It can either completely cover it. So like B99 might well cover most all of it, right. Or you can let that be a lighter shade of something. Because I've been trying to play around with that, trying to get patterns that you draw with a gel pen and then go over it with a color and you get a tone on tone look. But don't do it while the ink is wet. Okay. Because that will ruin your nibs.
Is a smooth shape for your flame more realistic, or is a jagged shape for your flame realistic?
Hard to say. I mean, you can look at pictures of fire. I would, you know, do a little research on the Googles and just look for campfires. Campfires are a great place to see flames and, you know, or fireplaces. When you have a fireplace, it has multiple sticks at the bottom, right? And it's got all kinds of logs, and the fire is coming up from all of them. On a torch, it's just coming up from one. So what I think is probably it's a little more of a streamlined kind of flame as opposed to multiple jaggy everythings.
I think it's probably going to be easier for people to do it as more streamlined too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to modify this now with my whole jaggedy look, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to try it the other way too, see what I like better. Yeah. So I'll try it both ways.
And since you have several practice ones.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe you have one of my practice ones at your house. Maybe the one that I did yesterday is at your house somewhere. I don't really know. I was shooting some pictures of something this morning, and I bet it's stuck to the back of what I was shooting because I had a big piece of white paper out here so I could take some pictures.
Oh, yeah. Things disappear on our desk so easily. Like
they walk away.
Find it as soon as we're done.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure it will show up. I just have no idea where.
Okay,
just
what's
a quick look, and it's gone.
What's next? Do we have? I know that you have all those pretty things in the background. So, is it just the little white stars?
It's the stars. Yep, just stars is what I did with mine.
Okay, so we have.
And if you have a moon die, you could cut a moon out of it and then replace it with a white piece of paper in there. There's just tons of things you can do. And if you want to make something else in it, you know, if you don't want to do the little tree background, which is way easier than doing what I did with the volcano. Right. So the volcano is purples and oranges and the dark blue and all kinds of colors that I tried to make that dark, but not look like sky blue. Right. So I wanted a darker color. And I just left all this white part at the top and then started filling it with the same colors that I used for the flame.
Okay, you're out of focus again. Sorry.
Oh, every time I lift my thing up,
right, it goes in and out. So, what colors did you use for the volcano?
The bright part was the same colors as the flames, but the background, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was, you know, when I start making a combination of colors, it gets out of control really quickly.
Okay. You just pick things naturally.
But it looks a little bit brownish to me. So I think there's like some purple under there and then some blue and maybe some green and gosh knows what.
Right. Now, if you were to watercolor this, would you be able to create the same effects? Because you are so incredible at watercolor.
No. Gosh, no.
Okay. It would just
I mean, I'm struggling with trying to figure out. I've been doing on my blog. If you've been watching that on Saturdays, I do inspiration posts, and I've been taking all of my old videos, all 1,400 of them, and going through them, categorizing them. And instead of having a playlist, I had at one time a playlist of 379 watercolor videos in one playlist.
Wow.
Because I just kept putting them in that playlist, and I wasn't thinking no one is going to watch 379 videos in a row. So I broke them all down into smaller groups. So the biggest group I think is 30 videos. But what I did was, instead of having to deal with the playlist, because playlists can be hard to look at on YouTube and try to figure out, on my blog on Saturdays, there's also an inspiration tab that you can go to. On Saturdays, I post a compilation of something. So I did like all beginner watercolor videos. I did a basics, like even before beginner, if you're thinking about watercolor, here's some really basics. And then there's some beginner projects, some intermediate projects, and then advanced projects. And I hardly have any advanced ones. I was trying to think about why that is, because it's really hard to do scenes when you're learning to paint as well.
Right.
It's really difficult to do that. And a lot of crafters don't really want to draw stuff. They want to paint stuff and they want to color stuff, but they don't want to draw stuff. And with Copic markers, I can get you to draw something because I can make it really, break it down really easy. Right. But with watercolor, you have to not only know how to draw a tree, you need to know how to blend a tree into the sky.
Right.
And then you've got too many things in your brain all at once. And that's why I don't really do scenes very much in watercolor, because it's really hard to do. So there is a post coming, and I'm actually going to make it live tomorrow, Friday, instead of Saturday this week, with the advanced watercolors. So you'll be able to see what those are. But that's probably as advanced as it gets for watercolor scenes, because you really need to take a lot more drawing classes and get a lot more proficient with watercolor. So I don't want to frustrate people by putting videos out there that they can't do.
Well, again, the classes that I have, your classes are amazing. Everybody who is here that doesn't realize that Sandy has a channel with classes on it, amazing classes. It's just go to Sandy Allnock, right? And all your classes are listed there as well, correct?
Well, on my blog, so if you go to sandyallnock.com, that has everything. There is a tab that's called classes, and that will take you to art-classes.com, which is where the classes are.
Oh, art-classes.com is where your classes are. Perfect.
Because it was like $15,000 to buy artclasses.com without the dash.
Wow.
And I didn't want to pay that for a URL, so we have a dash.
Well, you know what? That works. It totally works.
Absolutely. It works for me.
I was saying that, you know, this would be so cute, this background with dinosaurs, and it would.
Totally.
And, you know, it's like, there was a question, what are these? Oh, who are the three tikis? And so, you know, do you have some friends envisioned here? Like I said, this is myself when I was younger.
Well, I was thinking about that question because I saw it on Instagram, and the yellow one is obviously me, because I am the center of the universe and it's the one in the middle. And I think it's the happiest one as well. The expressions, the other two are like, woohoo. So the yellow one is me. And I decided, since this is an Ellen Hutson card, then one of them has to be Ellen. And it's probably going to be this one because it's the tallest one. And then we need somebody for the other one. And the person that on Ellen's team who makes me laugh like so hard and would fit in perfectly with this crazy trio is Julie. So I think the other one has to be Julie.
Yes. I would,
because I love to listen to her videos just because I love to hear her laugh.
Yes. Yeah.
That just makes me happy. So that's who those three would be.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Because, you know, it's funny, when we do create, there's things that are going through our mind. And so with these tikis, I can see Julie totally being inspired by Disneyland, because there's that tiki house. And Shari Moss created this adorable interactive tiki card. And then she put it to that music that plays in the tiki house at Disneyland. And I'm like, oh, now I want a Dole Whip. For those of you who have never had a Dole Whip, it is divine. It is just simply like frozen pineapple, coconut milk, and I think maybe a little vanilla, and you just put it into like a Vitamix and just, and then it comes in, it's this slushy. Oh, it's so good on a hot day. So
I went to Disney one time as an adult, And everybody in the world told me all the advice, all the things I should see. I had a miserable time. I do not do well standing in lines and being in crowds. And this was pre-COVID. That was a problem. And everybody said, you've got to have a Dole Whip. You've got to have a Dole Whip. Because I was just in misery. Like everywhere there was lines and people and screaming children. And I was just like, why do people love this? But people said, just have a Dole Whip and that will make everything better. And the Dole Whip line was longer than the rides. And I just couldn't do it. I have not had a Dole Whip because I did not have the patience. I did not trust that it was that good to be worth waiting in line for. So I didn't.
Julie is online. And so she says,
uh-oh.
But Sandy, you made me purple. I don't. That's why we laugh.
Hi, Julie.
Somebody's asking how tall I am. Well, how tall I am currently and how tall I was, because I'm aging. I'll just keep my hair as part of my height now, because that's probably about as much as strong. I used to be 5'9", and now I'm 5'8.5". So it's like I'm getting shorter. People are now like, oh, I'd love to go to Disneyland, and now I need a Dole Whip.
Well, you guys can have my Dole Whip because I will not be going back to have a Dole Whip.
I will make you a Dole Whip. I have the best copycat recipe that I found online. You just look up copycat Dole Whip, and there's many recipes, but the one that I found that I really like, I think it has vanilla in it. It's more than just the two ingredients of pineapple and coconut milk. So,
well, if there has been shortages on different things during the pandemic, there's going to now be a shortage on the ingredients for this Dole Whip knockoff. Because everybody's going to go out and have one.
Yeah, especially if it stays as hot as it is. You know, one other little tip that I thought I could share, because I am not an advanced artist at all. And so when I was like drawing this little scene, I actually used a pencil, and I have my eraser, my trusty little eraser here. And I ended up basically making points to be able to help guide me where I wanted to go with my drawing. And it was almost like a dot to dot to get me to be able to make the shape that I wanted to, because I kind of had an idea as to where it would go, because I can't, like, I'm not able to just draw something. You'll see my lines are a little more like wobbly. But then when I come in afterwards, it actually, I can finesse it with the Copic markers a lot more than if I actually don't have something guiding me mentally as to where to go. Now, one of the other questions I saw come through is your sign. How did you create your sign, "The Tribe Has Spoken"?
I stamped it, and I've done a bunch of different signs on YouTube before. So if I were going to make a sign here, and what should our sign say? How about this?
That's perfect. We might have to put our own little Dole Whip thing on our Tiki card.
Since I did that like scribbly thing, if you scribble over wherever your sentiment is, then you can almost follow that to make a sort of lumpy line.
Right.
And then I just took some other colors, and I was trying to keep with the same colors that I used already.
Right.
For the card. Just do some flicks in from the side that are kind of uneven, doesn't have to be perfect. And let's see, let's add a little bit of purple so I can make a few lines that maybe look like they're
scars in the wood.
They're wood. Yeah. And when I do stuff like this, I just bounce around between the colors that are on my table. So a lot of times I don't even write down what those are. But you can give it dimension by using different levels of the orange, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to take over the yellow that's in there, because I'm looking at this one and it's more orangey. So I'm going to just kind of go over that. And I colored outside of the lines because guess what? I was putting plants around the outside. So putting plants around the outside means I'm going to, well, I guess I need my darker green. You're just going to cover that up. It's a lot easier to make marker strokes when you're not worried about staying in the lines, which is one of the reasons why I make scenes and why I make dark scenes. Because dark scenes, you have more option to cover up stuff.
Gotcha. And the other thing that you and I have been talking about when we were off screen and getting our heads off is, and this is something that's coming to my mind right now, is this whole design aspect. By you picking up those colors that are on your desk already, you're getting colors to balance throughout your card, and you're bringing all those, you know, some different design elements right back into it. And that's, again, another reason why your cards always look so amazing, is because of that balance that you have going on. It's kind of like you've got that flame-like color down here at the bottom. You got it in the flame, and then you actually have it up there again in your volcano, is what I'm seeing. Yep. That's exactly what I see in it. It gives you this nice balance on your card front, which just blows people's minds. And it's just like, oh yeah, that makes total sense as to what you're doing. So I
mean, if you're choosing to make a card like this, my first decision had to be which colors the tikis were going to be.
Right.
And so I decided that, and I knew it was going to be a night card. So I got out some night colors. And I had some greens down here at the bottom. So I was going to have some greens to work with. And that set the whole tone. And I just stayed with the markers that are here. A lot of people want to add every single color in the universe. And then your card ends up being like a cacophony of crazy.
Right.
And here, when all of this stuff is really simple and dark, and then you've got all that beautiful color gathered in the middle, it just starts to focus the attention on the thing that's really important. And then you put an action wobble behind it. And there's just really nothing that's going to make that any better than the action wobble.
Yeah. And it's really fascinating now when I'm analyzing this thing too, because that's what my mind does, is always analyzing things. So I'm kind of analytical, I guess. And it's like, oh, you've got this awesome, like, little V shape going here with your focal point right there in the center. It's funny how all of our bites work so differently, and that's like, oh yeah, this is just genius. So yeah.
Well, like you said, there's a V shape here, but notice the volcano is not in the center.
Right. Yeah.
If you have everything in the center, which is what we tend to do as crafters, we like to put everything in the middle. We put our stamp in the middle, that kind of thing. And when I started stamping these and these guys were in the middle, I knew I had to do something crazy to get them to not be so dominant in the middle that you didn't look at anything else. And offsetting that was a big deal, and using the color down here so that your eye is kind of pulled around the card rather than just getting stuck in one spot.
Right.
There's a tiny tutorial on my Facebook and my Instagram right now. I just posted it a few minutes before this live video, and it talks about the placement of elements off the page and trying to shake up not being in the center all the time.
Right.
So
that was a great, again, that was just what happened here with this one too. It's asymmetrical, and asymmetrical design is, I actually find it easier to balance than symmetrical design.
Yeah.
Symmetrical design ends up feeling so static, like so staid, where you get more movement if you put something in there to actually offset that. So
I mean, you could put more greens in here, but this leaves you with a really nice big empty space for a sentiment. So you could heat emboss a white sentiment in there, which would be perfect. If you put a whole bunch of these greens in here so that it would feel balanced, you'd have to put your sentiment up here, which would not have, then you'd lose all the joy of that big sky. But if you put it down here, you've just gathered all of your elements into one section.
Right. Perfect. Yeah. Very good. Good tips. Yay. Well, I think we have been on for 50 minutes.
Woo.
Wow.
Did we answer all the questions that we were sent?
Pardon me?
Did we answer all the questions? Because we had a couple that came in before, and then I don't know what's going on in.
Yeah, I've been kind of following along here, and now I'm just going through it one more time. And I just don't see anything else here. I'm gonna try and make this screen just a little bit.
How many
bigger.
people did we have? How many people are here? Everybody who's here, everybody in chat, raise your hand and tell us where you're dialing in from. So that we can make sure everybody has another chance to win.
Comment, yeah.
Because it's all about the winning, right?
Yeah, because I'm trying to see how many people are here, and I actually can't tell. I have no idea. So someone might have to like tell me, because I don't see anything on here that indicates how many people are with us. But there's, I see a lot of comments coming in, so it's like everybody's having a wonderful time. And again, it's one of those things that I think we actually have to screenshot this to be able to do our drawing, because all of a sudden these comments disappear. So if you actually want to leave something for Sandy, I'm actually going to try and copy. I'm going to see if there's a way for me to copy these comments so that you can see it all.
I'm kind of thinking I'm going to hop over to YouTube.
Okay.
And
yeah, why don't you do that?
Make sure that I open it at least, because if I open it, I could probably scroll through even once the video is done, and I can at least see the commentary that's there.
Yeah, because again, I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out, there's like 200 comments. So I'm trying to figure out. Oh, Emily Lifehart said that 62 people are watching. Hi, Emily.
Cool. Hi, Emily.
I wonder if her little one was able to come join us. I just love when they do videos together. It's so cute. I love it when kids create. It's just, it makes me happy. Makes me so
I have
happy.
some kids classes, and I get so excited when their parents will email me one of the pictures that the kids made. It's just so fun to see.
Yeah. That's one of the great things about these stamps too, is being able to see what people are creating with it is just, it's so much fun. So much fun. So you always come up with something that is just so different than what other people do, because of what your background and your talent level is. And so it's like, it's always so fun to be able to actually color together with you. We've only done it a few times, and every time that we do it, I learn so much. So thank you for sharing that.
But it's always fun to see you get back into it, because I don't know if you guys all know this, but Ellen has some DVDs on how to do Copic coloring.
Yeah, it was back in
DVDs,
the day.
Old school DVDs from back in the day, before we had like MP4 versions of everything.
Yes, where somebody actually came in and
Ellen knows what she's doing.
That was nerve-wracking though.
She's being humble, but she knows what she's doing.
I love to color. Coloring is my sanity saver.
Yeah.
So we all need a sanity saver. And so the fact that I haven't been able to do it as much as I'd like to, life is just busy. Operating a business is challenging. And so I feel honored to actually be able to do that. But it's like all of a sudden, all these things that actually were, something that got me into this field kind of goes by the wayside. And so I look forward to the day where somebody's going to run this for me.
My sister was just asking me if I could sell my name. She said, you need to retire someday. Can somebody buy your name and then own all your videos and all your content and stuff? And I'm like, I don't know what you do when you're done. Do you sell your name? I don't really know.
I know. It's like, I don't know about you, but when I started this, I didn't think it was going to become anything. And so I just put my name on it, because I'm like you. I actually was thinking I would teach, because that's kind of what my background and passion was. Is I have an education degree and an interior design degree. So I'm like, oh, I love this. I think I'll teach. And someone needed to run the business, and it's just one of those things that I have a gift to be able to learn easily. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. Pretty soon that's all I was doing.
I can do taxes and spreadsheets and HR and
yes, but I do feel so lucky to be able to do this, because the messages that we end up receiving from people are like, that's why I do this. It's making a difference in people's lives. So to know that, that's a good driving force. So
you bet.
Well, do you think that we have everybody in here having left a comment, and that my team has had a chance to get all these things copied? I'm actually
We've vamped a lot.
Again.
We've vamped a lot. We're giving them a chance. So if they haven't taken the chance to enter to win, then it's on them at this point.
Right.
Hammered.
Exactly. So, well, thank you again, Sandy, so much for being here with me, and I had so much fun. We might actually have to do this once in a while so that I get to color.
And we have to have our 2 or 3 hour practice session.
Yeah, I get to color with you.
We just have to promise we're going to do those 2 or 3 hour practice sessions, because that was just crazy, ridiculous fun getting to hang out with you, because we just haven't had a chance for so long. You know, COVID kept us apart forever, and now we're just so busy. So we've got to make some time.
Yeah.
And do some like real FaceTime.
That would be awesome.
Can't wait to see you.
Yeah, same. Thank you again. And thank you to everybody who joined us. Like, seriously, thank you for being here and putting up with us giggle girls. Oh, we did your question. Who giggles more? I'm like, they don't know me.
Yes. I couldn't believe that. On Instagram, I posted a story poll. And I asked which one of us would get lost in giggle fits first. And everybody said me. Like, what is up with that? It's totally not me. I'm the one who causes the laughter, not the one who does the laughter.
I might be a little bit of both. I'm a little overly animated at times.
Just a little. But I don't have anything up my sleeve. If you saw my reel this morning, I had stuff up my sleeve, but not anymore. It is all laid on the table for you creatively.
There you go. Thank you again. And it's always such an honor to be able to do this with you. So
fun.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye, Ellen. Bye, everybody in chat. We'll see you guys later.